Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. And with that in mind, I want to encourage all of you to encourage the heart, which is the fifth exemplary practice of leadership that Kouzes and Posner espouse in the Leadership Challenge. And it's also one of the things that we can do for free as leaders that can yield so much results. Well, welcome back to those who've been here before. And for those who don't know me, my name is Tammy and I'm a leadership and career growth coach. I'm here to help you be the best leader you can be so you can grow in your career. There are a lot of ways that we can encourage the heart and really expand our relationships with our direct reports and our team members, our colleagues, and even our bosses. Today, I'm going to share 5 ways that you can start today to show your team, your colleagues, your organization, the people around you, that you in fact care. And as a leader, why should you care about this? Because if you don't show a little bit of your own vulnerability, if you're not capable of showing a little bit of your own emotion, and quite frankly, showing the love at work in some way, shape, or form, people will just not follow you. Because leadership is really closely aligned with relationship, and we develop relationships through appreciating other people. Showing your team and colleagues that you care about them and what happens to them is an essential part of being a great leader. The first is to listen to them. I mean, really listen to them. Not listen to them to figure out how you want to respond, but really listen to them. When you ask them how are they doing, stop and wait for the answer. And actually show like you give a shit about what they have to say about that. Listening to them means that you're really making an attempt to understanding their needs and that you're open to their ideas and solutions. Asking them questions means that you value their input. And as such, they are more willing to provide you those good ideas that ultimately might lead to greater success. The second thing is to offer up praise. And I don't mean empty praise. I'm not talking about the shallow stuff that's like, hey, good job, team, good job, high five. Those are okay. But what I would recommend is that you come from a place of personalization. So if one particular employee in your team really went out of their way to do something for you to help the team or help you as a leader or help the organization as a whole, then really make a point of thanking them for that effort because it makes them feel validated in the good work that they're doing. The third thing is showing respect. One thing that I absolutely was adamant about, a core value of mine when I was leading teams in my previous career, was that individuals were respected for who they were and for what they brought to the table. That was shown in the language I used around them. It could be shown as kindness and courtesy to them. It might be that even when you have difficult decisions, that you let them know that you kept their interests in mind when you made this hard decision. It could be that you make sure that you conduct yourself in meetings in a respectful manner. I wasn't the perfect leader. Sometimes I would make mistakes in my leadership by using maybe a more stern tone than maybe I should have used. Then as a leader, it's also important that I show them the respect to say, you know what? I saw that behavior of mine. It wasn't appropriate. Apologize for it and then try not to repeat it. Because if you keep repeating it, it's like the abuser, right? You just get to the point where you don't believe them after a while. So you want to make sure that you come in at it with some authenticity. And I had a really strong value that I was going to do that in my leadership. And I'm fairly certain that I accomplished that. So how do you speak to your team? Do you speak to them in a respectful manner? Do you curse at them? Do you call them names? Because if you do, cease and desist, because that's not in alignment with being respectful with your team members. Showing respect might also mean really paying attention to being inclusive and respecting the diversity of the group that you have working for you. It could be as simple as honoring that people have different observances or different things they celebrate and really bringing that to the fore in terms of honoring that and respecting their desire to perhaps take a day off or possibly even a week off because they're, observing Ramadan or they're celebrating Hanukkah or what have you. The fourth kind of ties into the second, which is show appreciation. It's a little different from give praise because give praise is more about their dedication and hard work and how you're going to praise them for the efforts that they're putting forward there. Whereas showing appreciation is more about taking the time to recognize their overarching successes. It's about looking at all of the successes of a team and then bringing that together and showing appreciation to everybody for pulling together, for pulling their weight, for being a part of the solution. This may be where you have dedicated award ceremonies to really honor those individuals or teams that have really stepped up. This also requires you being personally involved. So, one of the things I was really careful not to do as a leader was to not offload or delegate my recognition. This was something that had to come from me. I had to recognize their individual efforts and contributions as well as team contributions. I did that personally, either one on one during our one on one time together, or I would do it in team meetings, or alternatively, I would nominate people for awards to formally recognize them in the organization. The fifth thing is to make time for them. It's probably arguably the most important thing that you can do with your staff. And here's why. Because taking time for them means, whether it's a one-on-one meeting or actually showing up to those team meetings, means that you value them and that you respect what they bring to the table. One of the things that used to bother me the most is when my director would book a one-on-one call with me, but would always either cancel or delay the call. And it made me feel as an employee that I wasn't as important as the other people that were taking up his time. And while there are exceptions where, if the VP of the organization calls your boss into a meeting, it's possible that you have to be kind of pushed on the back burner because that priority is set in the organization from an organizational culture perspective. But the reality is, if you keep doing that as a leader, at some point you lose the credibility, but you also lose the respect of your team. So it's really important. And I always made it an effort to make time for my employees. I had a situation where we were managing an investigation of violence in the workplace, and I made sure that the employees that were specifically affected by that issue were allowed and able to come to my office on a regular basis to either off gas, express their frustrations, their stresses, their concerns, maybe look for updates, that kind of thing. I made time for them. And I think that made all the difference in terms of keeping things cool, calm, collected, moving forward. And it actually started to help repair some of the relationship issues that we were having in the organization. By doing these 5 things, you can really help build a stronger team and also build the respect of your team members in you as a leader. Because if you show you care about them, they will do everything for you when the time comes. They will be loyal to you. And this is not about manipulating your staff. It's about getting the best out of people. And the reality is you don't get flies with vinegar, you get more flies with honey. So being the disciplinarian, very boss-like leader doesn't necessarily get you the results that being a kinder, more caring, more empathetic leader will get you. Thank you for being here. And if you found any of this useful or helpful to you, please make sure that you like and subscribe, because I am here almost every week providing you leadership content just like this. Have a great week, folks. Lots of love. Until next time.